от сигарет кружится, как тези споры, тонкий английский лед, под ним кипящее море. Рюмка на полпальца, и где-то усталая печень, но он опять рвется в зал, как будто последняя встреча. Жесткое вино разума обжигает, но будет спящих каждое слово, как выстрел в зал, и не осталось священных щелей, где бы он тихо промолчал. Где-то в Багдаде жара тонет в сарказме и прозе. Он пишет, как режет ножом по мифам на белой бумаге. В студиях, в старых барах, в маленьких залах кампусов он ставит под роспись богов и веру сдает под авансом. Жесткое вино разума обжигает, но будет спящих каждое слово, как выстрел в зал, и не осталось священных щелей, где бы он тихо промолчал. Тело слабее, голос сипит, но шутка выходит точнее. Он поднимает стакан и говорит: поверим, кого соберет скорее. Публика держит дыхание, он не дает ей надежд, только упрямая да к сомнению и пути. И следуй смех, жестокое, но разума обжигает, но будет спящий каждое слово, как выстрел в зал, и не осталось священных щелей, где бы он тихо промолчал.
This land was made for you and me. That includes our poor and hungry. If you want to join the fight, come stand with us on the right side of history. Divided we stand, united we fall. In the belly of the beast, fighting fascists, the tyrants.
People come in and all and such. Oh wow, who's this? Good afternoon. Well, for some of you it's probably still good afternoon, but For the rest of us, it's good evening, and some even later than that. So this is Divided We Stand. If you're not familiar with us, you can find us on Facebook and on YouTube. We ask that you become a member of our Facebook group page. It costs nothing. It's definitely a private page, but that's good. We filter out those who would do some ignoble things to us, usually Trumpers. And it's a nice site. It's a nice, safe place to be if you're on our side. We are divided, right? And then, of course, we have Divided We Stand on YouTube. There are quite a few Divided We Stand channels, but this one is the political one, so that we ask that you subscribe to it. Dave and I put a lot of work into this. We do not charge for anything. This is not a monetized channel. And when you watch it, it's more or less like watching YouTube Premium, because you won't see any adverts on our show. So that's some good news for you, folks. So please subscribe, and most importantly, please partake in the festivities. So yeah, anyway, I'm going to add my friend in here, Mr. David Price. Let me get an overlay with Dave. Camera overlay, we've got Dave. And here is Dave. Dave, what the hell is up with you?
Well, for one thing, I'm trying to figure out how to get in this overlay, you know what I mean? Okay. Hey.
All right.
No, I'll go this way. I'll go that way. Do you have any idea what you're doing with the camera?
Yeah, what I want to do is I do want to have two separate camera overlays, and then in the center something where they could see the page. In fact, I don't even have the page on yet.
Why don't you put each of us in the middle of the overlay?
In the middle of the overlay? I could do that, I suppose.
Not in the middle of the screen, in the overlay.
Like, you want this in here somewhere over it, but smaller?
No. Yeah, you want your full face in there, in the small overlay.
All right,
now you got it.
All right.
What
So you
mine
have
is?
to kind of tilt your head.
No, I'm not doing anything. You're in charge of the camera.
Well, then I'm gonna have to make you a circle or something like that. There you go. You're good enough. All right. So as you can see, folks, this is Divided We Stand. You're seeing a live view of the Divided We Stand page. And let me clear out some of my messages. You'll see messages pop up because that's Messenger, but that's not really a big deal to have to deal with. But nonetheless, we will deal with it. All right, Dave. So let me just double check to see everything is okay. And there we go. All right. So everything looks good. So Dave, let me close you out of this part here. I guess for now, that's probably. I'll be changing this up for sure, but just the idea that we have something that we can just easily get to. And I know that you won't be able to see the detail within the web pages. But anyway, this is the Divided We Stand page, so we ask that you check it out. You'll see it here. It says Emergency Declaration, Authoritarian Outreach, Buckle Up. So basically...
Let me ask you a question. You speak Russian, right?
Да, я говорю по-русски, да.
Okay. And you read Russian, correct?
Конечно.
And you speak English, correct?
I don't speak English all that well, to be honest with you.
Now, and do you read English?
Yes, but no, not that a lot.
Why did you say Emergency Declaration, Authoritarian Outreach? The word is clearly overreach.
Overreach? Did I say outreach?
Yes, you did.
All right, Mr. Pedantic, but that's fine. Okay, I'll read it again for you, okay, for everybody.
And read it backwards.
Okay, up, buckle, overreach, authoritarian, declaration, emergency.
And actually, for people that struggle with reading, that's one of the suggested ways you do it.
Really?
So,
Read backwards? I always wonder if I was just dyslexic, but I don't think I really am. I can use that as an excuse, but if I were dyslexic, I think you'd kind of know. I mean, if I can read this, emergency declaration, authoritarian, overreach, buckle up, I guess I'm not. I always wondered if I was dyslexic and
you know
be
what?
able to remember things better.
If you see that, you can get tested for it if you're worried about it.
No, I'm not worried. I was using it kind of as a crutch, Dave. So in other words, oh, that's why I got these things wrong. Not because I was, ignorant to the answer. It was because I was dyslexic all along. After 66 years, I'd figure out that was the problem. I've always had, Dave, I've always wanted to have a good memory, but I never invested a lot of time in memorizing things. And I'm supposed to memorize poetry and things like that for Russian. Music, as you know, if you're trying to memorize arpeggios or scales, it's a good thing. And you really need your memory, but it's very taxing for me. And whether I'm 66 or I'm 26, it was always difficult.
And it will only get worse.
And you know that too, because I'm sure. I know you took lessons from a great jazz musician, and to be able to take all that in, you have to memorize a lot of stuff. And I don't know how you felt about memorizing, but I imagine you went through it.
It's funny because one of the things I was going to talk tonight about, so we'll get into education earlier, and we'll come back to it. But one thing that I think AI is going to do is going to make us really stop, pause, and think about what is education? What do we need to know? What do we need to learn? Once upon a time, memorization was the most important skill because there was no writing. Mm-hmm. And that, you had to remember that stuff. And now, is it? I don't know. I used to have my students, those that I had in 11th grade, had to memorize one soliloquy. It's a soliloquy from Macbeth. And for some of them, that's the only thing they remember about the whole year. But it was more a fun exercise. I'm not really sure about memorization. I think what it does is if you would need to look up the name of your state every time, it would slow you down.
Right. Look, we know about rote. That's kind of like the old style. But I'm saying if you're a musician and you need to know your keyboard or your fretboard,
true.
You need to memorize, visualize things.
Well, see, and that's another problem with education that we don't address is they talk about learning styles, and I believe in such a thing, and we don't really adapt our teaching to learning styles.
Right.
A lot of times a teacher will use their learning style as their teaching style because they're most comfortable. And for example, my handwriting on the board was hideous, and that didn't help the visual learners. So I had to work around that. But anyway, we'll come back to education. But let's start with you, Brian. What's got you disturbed, upset, angry, whatever the term is, because Donald Trump, if he's anything, he's an upsetter and an anger-causing machine.
Right. He makes everybody exhausted mentally and physically. Dave, what is really bothering me is this banter back and forth about the fact that we are at a loss of arms in the military. We're taxed back to the back of our teeth in terms of tax dollars for the military, and all of a sudden, all these, guided missiles that are very, very expensive, defensive missiles, offensive missiles, but mainly defensive missiles. They're very, very expensive, and they were used for drones and whatnot, and things that are attacking the ships, and the mathematics of it wasn't figured out. Like, oh shit, they should have known it from the Ukrainian war that, as it sort of the tide changed, that it doesn't really work this way, the old school way of using the military, and things change dynamically, and they've changed so much where in Ukraine, in a matter of months, the winner flip-flop with the loser. And this is because of these cheap drones. Everything seems to be drones now. Now, I'm not a military guy. I'm not saying that I am. But it just, to me, seems very, very obvious that we've blown our load on all these high-tech things that are very, very expensive. And now Trump, as you know, he talks out of both sides of his mouth. He says, we're armed to the teeth, we're locked and loaded, we have all that we need. And now, but he's pissed off that somebody's saying, but we're a little bit short of this, and we want to get these companies, he's giving them 21 days to respond and to make sure that they can just kick these things out like pancakes, which is not the case. And now they have to beg and borrow from South Korea, probably from Israel, probably from Taiwan. It's just non-ending, and I think he's cornered. And now you have a despotic Iranian regime, which has been responsible for so much terrorism, so many American deaths, and they're not a good actor in this, and they seem to have him by the balls now, because all they have to do is keep that strait closed, and prices go up, and Trump is screwed. So, to me, you've got we know we've got Iran. We can just put that to the side. We know what they're like, but Trump, because he's a liar, he is cornered now. He is absolutely cornered. And I don't know where they go with this, Dave. Do you know where they go with this? I mean, you can't.
Absolutely.
I don't know what they're going to do.
Well, I read a column this week that said Trump has changed winning and losing 52 times on a 52 times. Now, that's just happens to be once a week, but that's not what they're talking about. So I think the biggest problem with Donald Trump, as it continues on, is you can't believe a word that he says.
Right.
You can't run a country like that. You just can't. It also now, I think, well, yeah, I will say this. I think now the divide between Trump supporters and those of us who have sense and are not Trump supporters is even greater. I have less feeling for them than I've ever done. I mean, it's just so blatant. If they can't see it, then that's on them. Mm-hmm. Now, there's the other group. There's the two other groups besides that we have to talk about. There's the I don't care about Trump. I'm going to get something out of this group. And that's where the billionaires fall. So many of them, right? Not Mark Cuban, not Warren Buffett, but many of them. And then you've got the still, which has always been, oh, politics doesn't affect me, or politics is so bad, or they're all bad, this type of thing. So we're not real sure whether we're out of missiles or not. I happen to believe, just from the sheer number, that we are. And then the question becomes, what do we have to show for it? And that is absolutely nothing right now. The only thing that I think Iran war has done, as far as I'm concerned, is it's probably created a whole new generation of terrorists in Iran. Fence sitters who now lost a child, lost a friend, whatever. And I don't think we stop as Americans often enough and think about the other side. Now, am I a fan of Iran? No, I'm not a fan of Iran. Of course not. They're despotic.
Horrible. They're just they've been nothing but a pain in the ass for us for 47 years. They've killed Marines. I hate even thinking about that.
I'm not even so concerned about that. They're horrible with their own people.
Right.
And
vicious.
I think that's. I mean, why not be horrible? Yeah, why not, Brian? Think about it. If you're at war, or they think they're at war, why not be horrible to us? I mean, I think we just focus on ourselves too much and don't look at other things. So, to me, and there's proof in that. Do you realize in that, 25-year period when Iran was starting to westernize, they were the most westernized.
Are you talking under the Shah? I mean,
yeah. And now he had his problems too, because it's again, it's a despotic, no matter seems who to take over. Now, so again, I think the missiles, whether we have them or not, have created a problem in terms of potential terrorists. Another thing is, from all that I've read, and I don't follow it much because I don't understand them. I mean, the Middle East to me is too deep. I don't have time to really understand it, except that I don't think it will ever be peaceful. That's my take on it.
But it never really has for 2,000 years.
No, and it's such a deep hatred that I don't know if it can be overcome. But having said that, apparently, from what little bit I've read, the new leader is worse than the old leader.
Right, and Trump doesn't want to admit that.
Well, of course not, right. Because what he, and again, we have to, as Americans, I don't care whether you love Donald Trump as much as that little aide who follows him around with the 4 phones and the printer and all that as much as she loves him, or whether you love him, I don't know, like who else. But he has mental problems. He has physical problems. Even if he were the most savvy person going into it, and he's the least savvy person who's ever been president of the United States, he would not be a good president right now. It's not ironic. Some people use that word. It's not. It's just, and again, I think that goes beyond politics. I don't think Joe Biden should have been president in his last year. I really don't. I think, we can't keep electing these old people. We just can't. There was a time.
And Joe, apparently from Hunter, Joe's in really bad shape. So this would have been.
Well, and I'm sure. Now, again, we know that there are horrible, horrid, tragic problems in America. All right? It'll take money to solve them. Money's not the only, it takes, but every missile that we send stops us from working on a problem here in America. Whether that problem is education, whether that problem is economic inequality.
Dave, can I interrupt for a second? I want to make sure you understand what my point is. And I understand exactly what you're saying. Your guns and butter and all that kind of thing in terms of economics of it. I'm just saying that the military was not ready. And obviously, they didn't have a very good game plan.
And I'm not necessarily going to blame the military. First of all, let's look at the military now. The military now is not the one, by any stretch of the imagination, that President Donald Trump inherited, if you will, on his first day. At least, they're talking now it's in the dozens of generals, including top-ranking generals, have been replaced or retired. And so now we have sycophantic yes men in the military. And we've never
Which is what you and I were worried about when we talked about this 2 years ago, because you had mentioned it. You said, well, you think that maybe the military would hold on by itself, but he knew that, and he's taking care of business.
Right.
In the wrong way, but he's doing it.
I suppose if you searched, I don't know, the worst prisons in America, you might find somebody worse than Pete Hegseth to be in charge of what used to be the Department of Defense and now is the Department of War.
Do you think he really is technically in charge of? Maybe he is.
No, I think he is on the daily stuff.
Because he can't contemplate all of the different rationale that has to be coming his way.
It doesn't. Look at what he wants. He wanted. He's removing mention of any minorities, be they women, African Americans.
I know it's with that, but what is with that?
They're racists. Okay. You don't cut them a break. I understand that. I'm not saying that, Brian.
Or is it because more they think that people of color tend to be democratic and they're trying to get rid of them, or they're actually racist, or both?
No, I think all those factors that are into it, but mostly anything that they base worth on is monetary for the most part. The irony of it is, okay, so Pete Hegseth gets placed in a position that he has no business being in, and what's the first thing he does? He puts a makeup studio next to his office in the Pentagon, so that he can.
That I never heard.
Oh yeah, it's true. And the purpose of that, of course, was to him to be camera ready. He is a creation of this cult of personality brought on merely by the fact that with no talent, he was on Fox News. He is a drunk.
Yes.
He has not, to my knowledge, taken any steps toward recovery. The church that he goes to, the preacher of the church that he goes to here in D.C. has said, wants to take the vote away from women because women are not equal and we shouldn't take them seriously. That's the Secretary of War.
And those god awful tattoos he has. Now I know it's not against the law to have a tattoo, but you wouldn't have seen any Hubert Humphrey with those kind of tattoos back in '68.
No, it's there's so much we're paying for, and we allowed it. And when I say we, I mean every one of us, every single one of us, obviously didn't do enough to stop it, and many of us saw us coming. I don't know what you do. I mean, maybe just it's how do you do this now? It may be. I don't want to say it's too late. It may be too late to reform anyone who's in there because they're already there. We have to get rid of everyone who has any power at all in this regime.
Good luck.
If we leave one person, we're still going to have problems. Yeah. Well, the way to do that, of course, is to sweep in all Democrats. Now, is that going to happen? Absolutely not. But we don't need. We don't need tons of victories. We just need enough to get control of the Senate. But here's the thing, Brian. The rules of the Senate, and I think this is important because people forget this. Do you know that in order to get conviction and many other things passed in the Senate, it's not 51-49. It's not even 50-50 vice president decides it. It's 60-40. You have to have 60%. And that means you.
But isn't there a reconciliation for some issues?
They will, but the other party has to agree to it. I mean, you're really the rules were.
I don't even know if there are rules. I mean, honestly, I'm going to play stupid. I don't even know if we have any rules in government anymore. That's how bad I feel about this.
No, I think we have rules in government, but everybody ignores them. It's like, okay, we use you and our teachers, so we often use education. Every teacher's supposed to take roll, right? But sometimes
a lot of trouble if we
sometimes they don't until they get caught. And this is kind of what's going on here. That just because there are rules, it doesn't mean they're going to be followed, and it certainly doesn't mean they're going to be followed in this particular regime. And even the word regime, smacks of fascism or authoritarianism. Well, that's because we have a fascist authoritarian government. Donald Trump is not Hitler. Donald Trump is not Mussolini. Donald Trump is not.
But he's bad, that's for sure.
He may be worse in certain instances because he is so erratic. He is so brain damaged at this point. And these side shows, all this past week, it's been about his hair. Jesus.
Yeah, what's with that? Was he putting in the topic in his head to make it look like it's thicker?
There's something. I mean, who the hell cares?
But he's already done so much to his. I mean, we know he had the scalp reduction, so he's
right.
bringing parts of his scalp. That was back in the 70s when that was going on. He's had the sutures put in or whatever he has, and obviously it's not good enough right now. So he's trying to mask it. But that's him anyway. I mean, it's just what he is.
But we don't need to focus on that.
No, it's not even worth focusing on. But it's just the way he is.
We do. Instead of now, for example, I say this every show, and it disappoints me to say it, but journalism is not doing its job. Okay. Now, there's two reasons for that. One is that almost all the top journalism organizations, be they TV or print, are owned now by right-wing billionaires. Okay? But that doesn't mean the reporters have to follow suit. But it does if you want to work for that particular organization.
Right.
You're going to have to follow. Now, you've seen that certain things, sometimes it's a cost-cutting measure that it doesn't need to be done. That's Bezos in the Washington Post. They eliminated 300 reporters, gone. Or it can be what they did with 60 Minutes and some of the CBS crew there. Just tell them you're going to tell this story. No, I'm not. You're gone.
Right, they only have Whitaker and Leslie Stahl left, and they said they're just staying because they figured they. I mean, I don't know if that's the right thing, but they're saying they're staying just because they want to try to hold on to the fort.
Well, that's the age-old argument, and it's down here a lot. Can you change things better from the inside of an organization or from outside the organization? And I've never really been able to resolve that because I think it depends on the situation. But what do you think about that, Brent? Is it better if you're challenging something, to be inside the organization and challenging it, or to be outside the organization and challenging it?
That's a great question. I mean, the Russians always believe you work from within, and that's really the only way you get it. I don't know, Dave. I mean, I would assume that it just depends on the circumstances. I can understand why Whitaker and Stahl are trying to stay. Somebody's got to stay home, but it does have a bad look. Sometimes you all just have to say we're walking away, and now nobody's going to watch it. Actually, if you think about it, 60 Minutes is done. They're done.
Oh, yeah, and
it'll be 15 minutes.
60, and rightfully so. I mean, you don't keep you don't keep a show on because it was once good. I think the real sad part of that is CBS News once was the bulwark. It was the thing.
That was a great show. We know that right from the beginning. It was great.
And the whole thing, from Edward R. Murrow to Walter Cronkite to Dan Rather, with 60 Minutes coming in between the Cronkite and Rather period and going on, and it was revolutionary. Would you take care of Freddie? Can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him out of my closet here. You keep going with that, all right? I'll listen to you.
I will. No, you go. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we now have positive proof that Brian Weinstein, who is the co-administrator and really creator of this show, is in the closet. He just said, I'm going, if you heard him, you heard him say, I'm in the closet. No, I'm going to the closet. So apparently, and there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think, unless Brian denies it when he comes back. We'll see.
Get your bony.
Now this is now what you just proven, Brian, is that you care more about Freddie than you do about every single viewer of this show.
I love my dog. I can't help it.
You don't have balance.
I have balance.
You're going to tell me there's no place your dog can go for an hour when the show is on?
No, I can't. If I leave him alone for 15 minutes, he'll be dead. I don't know what he's going to do. He'll eat something off the floor, or it's what happens. You get a rescue dog. You don't know what's going to happen. So, but he's a wonderful, wonderful thing. The dogs are one of the great things in this universe,
and you and I part company on that. I would not abuse animals, but I will worry about animals.
Well, you eat them. That's a form of abuse.
I will worry about animals when every single human being is
well,
taken care
your
of.
philosophy is that you're at the top of the food chain, so then that's what matters. But nothing is good about the universe in terms of suffering. It's just a bad setup. Evolution is not a good situation.
I leave the dog alone. Yeah, I don't know. Now, see, with Judy, I don't know if she means me leave the dog alone or you leave the dog alone. I'm of the school that Brian should leave the dog alone.
No, look, I'm a rarity. Most
I got it.
people.
I love my grandpuppy. Judy's like you.
Oh, thank you, Judy. I appreciate that.
Hey.
Yeah.
And
it's funny too, because that's one thing I notice in Bridgeton. There are sometimes you see some dogs that are stray, and it just bothers the crap out of me. But that's one thing I used to see as I went to school, Dave, going up what's called Academic Avenue or Way or whatever, or Scholastic Drive. You see all the people from Bridgeton walking their dogs, big and small, early in the morning, in the afternoon, near the zoo. These people really love their dogs, and they take them to the park. It's really endearing, and I know these are good people. They're really good people, and they care.
About
Bridget
their
gets a
dog?
bad rap, but
About their dogs, they care.
well, no, well, those who care about the dogs, I'm sure, care about human
No.
beings. Okay, they really do. But that's another
Not-
story. I didn't want to make
Yeah,
this
no-
a dog show, but
No, but not necessarily, because if you think about it, every moment you spend with Freddie is a moment that you're not doing anything for humans.
well, you could argue that everything we do affects everybody else, and I might be actually stealing from humans when I'm doing something else, like driving my car and using gasoline or whatever. That's debatable, but I love human beings as a general rule. The people who are around me, my friends and acquaintances, my colleagues, but people are also dangerous. I think anybody who's watching the show, or you, Dave, on the show, and it's people are a danger, and you could just simply go to a Wawa and somebody's not paying attention to how they're pulling out of their car, or people are dangerous. And sometimes that's why I know a lot of colleagues of mine. I know a lot of kids. I knew kids that say they just stay home because they don't want to. I remember one kid used to say, I just keep away from people. And I said, well, why do you do that? He says, because they're a danger. And I remember that kid telling me, and he lived like right near the projects, and he was very clear about it. He said, Mr. Weinstein, I just try to stay away from it. It makes me feel safer. And I get it, you know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying I just gravitate toward the dogs. I just have, like, Ricky Gervais' attitude that, here you have, like, sometimes dogs are beaten and, they'll still wag their tail at the person who beats. It's just, they're just wonderful, wonderful animals. And unfortunately, in a lot of places in the world, they're treated like shit, just like donkeys are treated like crap. Animals in general are treated horribly by humans. And there is, was it oxytocin, whatever, that is, emits when you are around a dog or a cat or an animal that loves you and goes back and forth. It's really quite amazing, Dave, what happens to the brain when you're around these animals, because you see their innocence. It's like a child in a certain way. It's in fact, you have no conversation with it.
I'm going to contend that animals are wonderful. Pets. We're talking about pets now. If you put them in,
And you told me you used to have a pet. It's not like you were never a pet.
Oh, I always had.
Did you love your pet?
Of course.
Did you cry when it died?
The first one, yeah.
All right, okay. Because when you're a kid,
Absolutely.
it's very
No,
difficult.
But how does this? I just think, and this is just me, I could be wrong, that a lot of people are turning to animals now because of some of the things you said. Human beings can be cruel. Human beings can be not nice, which isn't cruel, but just as bad. And I think that's fine as long as it doesn't take anyone away from what I consider their primary ability, which is to leave the earth a better place than they found it.
Right, and that I can live with that. That's
now if you or anyone can do that with a pet. Judy just put up here a while ago, caring for animals.
sorry, I haven't been keeping
are
up with
good
this.
for-
You have, but
No.
that's good.
I have. Caring for animals is good for your mental health. It's absolutely true. So anything in perspective, but again, maybe it's just the people that I'm talking to recently, but a lot of my friends, I have a little bit of worry about them because of their, let's just say, they're reaching out to animals, and I think it's a deficiency in them, not necessarily a good thing. That's all.
Well, I get that. Look, for example, if you're hoarding animals, when you're actually hurting them more than you're helping them, I get that completely, Dave. That goes without saying. We've discussed this before. That's a truism, yes. There is a certain point when it's taken to an extreme.
But
It's like having
it's very
15 kids. I mean, you better have $1 million in your bank account if you're going to have them.
But again, what we can say with certainty is Trump has never had a pet, ever, that we know of. I mean, and that's people who've researched. And
Right, he hasn't. That does say a lot about him, doesn't it?
it does, But the other side of that is also, a lot of politicians, I don't know if they love their pet. They had one because it's good video. Do you know what I mean? It's like you're supposed to have one. And it all comes down, okay, there we go. We're all
No,
disappearing.
I'm trying to get us.
I know, I know.
Okay. Just different looks.
So what happens, Bri, is this. Like I said, I've been picking on you and driving you just for this sake. But I do believe this. One of the things that is getting harder and harder to do is to live in this world. Okay. It is. The rate of change is so rapid. It doesn't matter where you look, there are problems. But like everything else, we all need balance. And whether it's, if you you can have imbalance with a pet, the same as you can have imbalance with anything else. That's all. All right, let's get back to Mr. Trump here. So I think maybe the most disturbing thing for me this week, I agree, the fact that we're running out of missiles. Although, Brian, let me ask you this before we leave that, since that's a topic you brought up. Do you think we're more vulnerable now than we were before we started the Iran thing?
I just had to do a little check there. We're good.
I said, no. Do you think we're more? We're in a weaker position now than we were when we started Iran?
Yes, definitely, because
Right.
we've been exposed. I think that's why Trump's really, really pissed off, is because there was a leak. And this is one thing where I actually agree with Trump. You shouldn't have leaks because it's going to put American lives in danger when you say, okay, we're running out of weaponry. Now you've really caused danger. Now, I don't care about Trump, but those kids who are on those ships, I mean, some of them have nothing to do with politics. They just need to survive.
Well, if you read one of the big stories this week is on one of the largest ships out there. Showers are moldy, food's bad. I mean, somebody asked, are they getting combat pay, which is extra than regular pay? Or, do they get combat pay when we're not at war or when we're at war? Whether we're talking about Trump or Hegseth or Kennedy Jr., Kristi Noem just wanted to have sex with her side piece, so I wouldn't really count her. But their idea of macho is only with appearance, not in action, right? And that's what's wrong. Trump thinks he appears as a strong man. Hegseth thinks he appears as a strong man. And the list goes on and on. And they really don't.
Right, and they get put to a point where they get to critical mass. I mean, they can go on, on the screen in the afternoon, have a press conference from Camp David, sit behind that table. But when things get really, really dicey, then that's when you can bet they're scurrying. Say, I got to get somebody who knows what they're talking about. I don't know what.
Well, you know what? I'm going to disagree with you there. I don't even know if they. I mean, I think Trump really does believe, as he said. I never watched Fox News, but I was at a place where it was on, and I didn't do what I normally do: go up and ask him to turn it off. I just sat there for a minute. I was eating a piece of pizza, and I heard him say, and I spit out my pizza. So I was like, nobody, this was exact quote, nobody knows more about Europe than me. Let me do that again. Donald Trump said, nobody knows more about Europe than me. Now, was that the ravings of an insane man? Or was it the talk of somebody who really believes he does know Europe better than anyone else? And I think it might be the latter. He does not, because for him to, I mean, it's just absurd, but I think he has to believe he's the best at everything. This week, again, it resurfaced that there were a couple teams looking at him as a catcher. Yeah, okay, right, whatever. But it's just,
Well, he did win a trophy for being a good bowler or something like that in 10th grade or something.
Okay, well, let's look at that.
That's about it.
You actually have video now. He just won another trophy, right, at his golf course. You watch him move the ball. He moves the ball. I mean, it's... Look, if I wanted to do something, I'd make sure there was no damn video of it. I mean, I know that's hard in this modern age, but it's just, oh my God. But what I want to talk a little bit about here is the thing that maybe frightens me even more than the weapons is we now have Trump's private attorney
All right, Blanche.
as head of the Justice Department. And he is on record with these words, I love you, Mr. President. Now, I don't know if it's a good thing that the DOJ head loves the president that he's overseeing. I mean, we haven't even begun to see. I don't know if you've seen it. It circulates from time to time. It's a picture of an iceberg just a little bit above the surface, and then below, it's talking about corruption. I mean, it's out in the open more than it's ever been. It's never been like this. And I would agree with Jeff. It's
And Gary has a comment here too. Jim.
well, that is true. But it's just if he weren't so friggin' dangerous, it would be sad. I mean, it would really, if you knew him, right? If he was just a guy, right? I mean, what is wrong? And we've all met people that are narcissists. And I think a lot of times people think people are narcissists who really aren't narcissists. But nothing like him. Nothing like, I mean, there's never been, to my knowledge, anyone like him that I've run across. What about you, Brian? I mean, have you seen anybody on the level that he is narcissistic? I haven't.
In terms of a national figure, somebody that narcissistic.
Or in your family or personal life. I mean, anywhere.
That's a great. I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody who's just. Well, you know what? I tell you who was. Now, this is not a big name, but do you remember a guy named Jack Cassidy? He was an actor. He used to always wear these diamond rings. His son was David Cassidy, who was from the Partridge Family. And Jack Cassidy was a B actor who always wanted to be an A actor, and he was so resentful of the success of his son. It was a horrible thing that happened to David Cassidy, because he really resented that all the girls were fawning over David Cassidy when he was a young teenager in his 20s, and Jack Cassidy never made it big as an actor. And he tried to think of himself bigger than anybody. Again, he'd wear these big like Tom Jones rings, but he would have diamond studs. He had such a narcissistic personality, but at least he didn't become president of the United States. You know what I mean? But yes, he's like the Jack Cassidy put in
on steroids.
Right? Yeah, it's that's the only one I can think of like that possibly. I mean, Muhammad Ali acted, but he backed it up, and a lot of it was just he personally liked to joke and stuff like that. He was really humble outside of that, Yeah, so that was just kind of like a thing, like sometimes, Dave, I know you do that on purpose just to rile people up, but we know where you're coming from,
Put this up for people to see.
Oh, you can move it. There you go. Whoop, come back again. Right in front. There you go. I'm so great. I'm jealous of myself.
Yeah, so I got that on my desk.
The real danger, Dave, is when in your mind you keep envisioning yourself to be great. When you lie to yourself, I think we all do that. I mean, when you were a kid, didn't you, fantasize that you hit a World Series home run in the ninth inning, or you scored a goal, or you the fastest person on the planet? I mean, I did that, for a while. Well, so it wasn't that important to me. The Walter Mitty type of thing, but not like actually living it every day.
Oh no! So a couple things, are coming up. Also, I think that if I didn't know better, I would think that Donald Trump has a fence fetish. Again, there may I don't even think there's 24 feet on both sides of the White House, both on the Lafayette Park and on the Ellipse side, where you can see.
By the way, I have no Jack Cassidy fans here. Jack Cassidy had a violent death. He died. He burned to death.
Yeah.
But nobody likes Jack. Nobody likes Trump.
That could be. And so,
you weren't a Jack Cassidy fan, were you, Dave?
No,
I think you named one movie of his.
I like Jack Cassidy, who's the bass player for or was the bass player for Jefferson Airplane and Hot
Okay, I
Tuna,
get
but
to
not.
that. Okay. Well, different
No,
one,
but it
though.
was, I mean, maybe 24 feet total on both sides where you can see the White House. And I went up. We had our niece brought two grandnieces in, and then a friend who had never seen Washington D.C. So this Trump D.C., which is unbelievable. I urge everyone to come see it, just because it's just so different. Um, so I watch the crowds when I go up there, and the majority of them are foreign. And I think that's what they're going to carry back from America. And as recently as when Mr. Biden was there, you could get up pretty damn close. And that's important. All right. Now, we're never going to go back. Again, there's certain things, 9/11, other things. When when I was young, we could go to Washington, D.C. They had bleachers out there. You would sit, and they would call you in for a White House tour. Now, we're never going to go back to that. Okay. But certainly this. Now, then, of course, you've got the closed-in fencing with drapery now runs the entire length of the reflecting pool. Okay. This week, they had something good in DC because we gotta kind of praise it when it's good, I guess. A group not related in any way to Trump brought in a memorial for all those who served in the military, and it's a computerized thing and called up and you can see their name. So Judy's doing a lot of genealogy on her family, so we went over to see it, and for the first time I caught out the corner of my eye, I caught the golden horses that are now on the bridge that leads up to the Lincoln Memorial, and they are as garish and as tacky as you could imagine. Again, fencing around, but fencing is not around that, but it is around the reflecting pool. And now, Brian, the entire length of Pennsylvania Avenue, from the White House to the Capitol, is fenced. It's an open fence for the big race, the car race that's
Oh,
has
for
already.
Christ's sake. One of my least favorite sport, auto racing.
Well,
I still don't get it. What a waste of I mean,
Well, the interesting thing is, if Trump just can't do anything right. If Trump were concerned about appeasing his base is not really Formula One drivers. They're NASCAR. That's where, so he doesn't even get that right. The 24/7 flare tent dropped down from 5 to 1. They limited it down. Is now no longer existing. They took it down, supposedly just for out to the end of the month.
well, who did actually? I mean, in the government, was it some National Guard thing, or was it just local police?
What's that?
Took it down.
Came? Oh no! They took when they came. It was the park police.
It was like a summons. They said you got to take it down yourselves.
You take it down, and if you don't, we will. And the park police are not the bad guys. I mean, they're not. They're given orders. So it's Donald Trump. I mean, or Stephen Miller, or somebody in the regime. But on this one, my concern, and I talked to a number of people who were involved with the flare. I said, I hope we get it back up, because when something's down, it's easy to say, no, we're done. We don't want you there. So every day, and this is different in D.C., I mean, Donald Trump is destroying the country, no question. But Donald Trump is even more visibly destroying D.C. Kennedy Center is empty. D.C. is empty in terms of, people don't want to be there.
And what foreigner would want to travel to D.C.? I mean, it used to be a big thing for them to see the Capitol, the White House.
Yeah.
And you live there, and you see the lack of excitement.
Well, and I said, and my wife Judy is a pretty normal, good person, and she's so upset she just won't go in anymore. I mean, she did go in to see the names.
Well, where did she go then? I mean, where's there to go?
Because it's everywhere. I mean,
you go underground, obviously, where you have those shops and all, but
no, we don't even have those. But they're gone too. But no, it's Now, that gets to something that I'm going to ask our viewers, regular viewers, whether it's Anthony, whether it's Dunstcap, who I know who he is, Jeff, anybody who, Kim, Judy. I think we really need collectively to begin thinking about, and I will do it too, and we'll begin sharing maybe as soon as next week. What can we do as individuals or within small groups to try to oust this Republican regime? Okay. So what, I mean,
Don't you
I
still
don't
think it has to come from within? I mean, none of us are able to really. We do what we're doing, like what we're doing right now. But in terms of for them to break up, it has to be divided within them.
Well, but I think you can have a plan. Like I've been thinking about if.
I mean, keep getting Tucker Carlson to go against. Though I don't know if that's going to do much, but
Well, no, I mean, it's there, and some you can't. I know, but I'm just saying, just because, again, just like earlier in the show, and I agree with that, pets are good for mental health. Working to solve this problem is also good for mental health. Now, not everybody can go out and protest. Not everybody should go out. There was a. I won't name her because she hasn't told her parents yet. She's really cool. She's a 22-year-old student at Maryland. She got arrested for the first time on a protest this week and was taken to jail, released after ROR to recognizance. Another protester who I'm friendly with, who has one of the greatest first names in the world, Dave. He's Dave 1 and I'm Dave 2 there. He on his own just decided on, what was it, Wednesday, he would go up to Mitch McConnell's office, which he did, and ask them, could I see the senator? And kind of pushed him on it. He taped everything. And of course they gave him, the runabout. Now, apparently it looks like McConnell is alive, right? Because we do have some apparently observable proof. But that's where I want to leave my remarks tonight. This task is daunting, but we can't even know that something we see with our own eyes, Brian, is true. AI is getting better by the day.
Right.
Okay.
And within a year or two, I mean, who knows what the fuck's going to be happening?
We know now. I mean, it astounds me how good it's gotten in that year. Now, it really came, and it's still, like I said, it's still in its infancy.
And remember, though, he's going to try to corner the AI market.
Both ways. And that's what also is scary. One is corner the AI market. You're absolutely right. The other side is just, well, that wasn't me. That was AI.
Right.
That wasn't me.
But, even at this point, Dave, I mean, I'm not even sure he even has to do that. He can just say anything, and you can't know what he said.
As the clock ticks down, this week I listened to him more than I usually do, just to get a read, not on anything he was saying, but he is really struggling.
And not that, but do you notice that, when they show scenes of him, he's already behind a desk. They don't have him like walking to the desk or leaving the room. It's always
and
behind
it's funny,
something.
The other thing that was crazy this week too. I mean, it's new crazy with Trump. He ordered a helipad to be built on the White House grounds. Now that's not the worst thing in the world. Okay, the helicopter flies in and it doesn't tear up the grass so much. But okay, I mean, I can buy that as long as it doesn't disturb the overall look. Well, what he didn't like it because it didn't match the sunset or something. So he had the whole thing torn up. Millions of dollars, torn up, done again. But I didn't even think about this. He was talking about a slant. And Judy said, well, that's the reason he doesn't want that. He doesn't want to walk on a slant because he can't walk. That could be, right? I mean, who knows with him? But the best thing that can happen is Donald Trump closes his eyes and doesn't open them again.
Well, wouldn't you prefer to see a war within the Republican Party? That's what I want to see. That somehow something happens where they just divide.
here's where I would say it will happen. It will happen more if Trump is dead than it will if he's alive.
Okay, that's
Trump will name a
interesting, too.
successor.
Right.
Yeah, Trump will name a successor. Some days apparently, from what I hear, some day, or I shouldn't say what I hear, what I read. Some days it's Vance. Some days it's Rubio, and most recently it was Donald Jr. And that probably is the troika that the decision will come from.
Or will someone be instated as the Republican nominee, but Trump will be behind the scenes acting as, the wizard?
Well, he may try that, but it doesn't.
I mean, with the egos of somebody who's president would probably be greater. But I'm just saying, Putin did it with Medvedev, so why not in the United States? He did it. Why not here?
Two reasons. Putin is far more devious than Donald Trump. And secondly, Russia has a long history of doing that.
Yes, that's true.
And we don't. Now, that doesn't mean it can't happen. But I'm just saying, if I were... Now, I know some people want him to be assassinated. I am not in that category for two reasons. One is I don't believe in taking a life that way. But even more importantly, taking a life that way could lead to martyrdom. And that's the last thing you want. Right?
You don't want that.
Trump
don't give them any fuel.
No, that's it.
I say give them fuel to attack it. When you have that opportunity, when they start dividing in any kind of way, try to foment that.
Oh, yeah. Then a lot of people say they want him to go to prison and suffer and all that. My problem with that is I'd rather see him close his eyes because then he's done, right? I mean, as long as he's alive, just what you said, you don't know how much power is transferable. So I would just prefer that he goes. Then we'll have the infighting. And we may have it anyway.
And then we have to clean it up. The Democrats always have to clean it up.
Brian, there's so much to clean up now. I don't even know.
And maybe we have to turn to say, go ahead, do your crap and just, like Antonio used to say, just let it just die. Now, I wouldn't do that, but that is an option now because it may be the only thing that's going to stop the Republican Party. Or like what Judy said, we need to have the GOP eliminated in some way, so it has to bring itself down to the depths, to the dregs.
Well,
and maybe
that'd be it. One of it's not a good
the
thing.
Whigs,
but you were looking at it right now. We have seen that the democracy we had, the Constitution that we had, the amendments to that Constitution, the operations of the Supreme Court, the Senate, the House, and the executive branch need to all be changed. If you change nothing, the next Trump will guaranteed will reach. Given the fact that the things we can't change, we're not going to change cult of personality. We're not going to change networks using reality shows. We're not going to change the idea that if you want... Okay, here's one for you, and I'll leave it this. This one got to me this week. I'm not a big fan of influencers. I do understand, but I don't, because I wouldn't follow anybody. I don't think carte blanche everywhere. But there is an influencer now who has got about 700,000 viewers because she goes out and has relationships with murderers and details them. 700,000 people are interested in that. Well, multiply that numbers out, and that's where you get into Joe Rogan areas. But anyway, I'll go first this week. I think you went first last week. Given Trump's physical failures, I am more optimistic this week than I was last week, except the blinking red light is the new Department of Justice head. That is troubling.
So you are not optimistic?
I am optimistic, but the blinking red light keeps me from being overly optimistic. But yes, because I just think that watching Trump this week the way I did, and I normally don't do that, I don't see how he's gonna. I don't see how he's gonna make it.
Okay. Well, I'll say this. I'm only optimistic in the sense that I know that the situation with Iran, I basically see it like we've mentioned this. When you have evil versus, in the end, evil will be destroyed because you don't need to have good to destroy it. Like, evil will destroy itself. Evil will destroy it because you have. It's just the nature of the beast eventually. But what you're seeing right now, you see two bad actors. You have Iran, which has been bad for the last 47 years, and then you have Trump, who's just the worst in the world. And there's no way out of this thing now for either one of them. But the bad part of that, and why I cannot be optimistic, as I said, there are still people on those aircraft carriers, these sailors who they're sick of it, and they're bad. We don't know what kind of conditions they're going through. We don't even know what type of captains they have, because you can have a Captain Quigg out there because of Trump. We don't know that. So in that sense, it's very, very dangerous. Where do we? And then he's telling these companies, you've got to produce these weapons like pancakes, and but they're not even useful. It's just obviously right now. You might as well throw bricks at them. It might be more effective. I don't know what you do. I mean, there is a way you can win, but it's the expense of sending all these soldiers, and you just have to kind of just go from city to city and wipe them out. But good luck for 4 years, and then how many tens of thousands of Americans will die? You cannot just bomb them and say give up. I mean, you have to literally carpet bomb every city in Iran till they say no mas. You could do that, but right now it doesn't seem like they even have the weaponry. They don't have the backing. It's a mess. Unless he just completely capitulates, and I don't see him doing that because he hates losing a war.
He can't do it. But I will tonight, for a first time, because I could see the comments. I'm going to give Jeff Curry 8317 tonight's comment of the night. I really like this. He says Donnie could call himself the, in quotes, Whig Party. So that's my favorite for tonight.
Well, that's
some good ones.
Be nice that the Republican Party would go the way of the Whig Party. So
that's what we're hoping for. All right, Mr. Weinstein.
All right, Dave. Good conversation.
Like I said, watch. I will not see you, but I will be in your state from tomorrow to Saturday. But I'm on a top secret mission, so I can't reveal.
All right, you do that, and maybe next time we'll show some videos of you. There's a cool video of you on the New York Times or something like that. It was pretty cool.
I was, again, just for anybody who didn't, well, it's interesting because we're talking about narcissism.
It was quick, but it was you.
Oh, no. Well, what happened was, for the story, I went twice. I went the first day, and it was beyond fiasco. And then I took my granddaughter so she could see it. She had the best review. She said, I'm out of here. This is lame. And that was really the best review. But in the course of that first day, there's nobody there, right? And I'm walking across, and I see this film crew. I didn't know who it was. They're coming to me, so I figured. And it happened to be the New York Times. Now, what was interesting, we had a 20-minute conversation, and it was taken down to one sound bite, about not even 3 seconds, right? 3 or 4 seconds. But what was good about that, they were good newsmen, because that is exactly, they were able to get in that sound bite what I was trying to say, which the other person that's very interesting in that, who followed me, she had more airtime, was a black woman who was huge MAGA and Trump supporter. So again, it's, I wondered sometimes, like, was I giving off this vibe that I used to be a newspaper? It wasn't. It was just random. I got picked. And anyway, all right, everyone, thank you for listening.
And by the way, that's another important point. Treat everybody as an individual, no matter what, because you don't know one way or another what each individual thinks or believes.
Yeah, no, that's true. And so thanks everyone who's here tonight. Thank anyone who watches it later. And
if anything big happens, we'll be on earlier before Sunday.
Well, yeah. And then
we can do it now.
Thing, as I said, I think we need to collectively say, because somebody's got a better idea than I have, or maybe we need to start thinking about the midterms. What can we do, given that we're only one person? What can one person do to try to maximize the chances of the Democratic Party.
And by the way, folks, I have Zoom, so we can have all of you can come on one day. It'd be kind of nice
true.
just to have all of
Well,
us
we're
on a
talking-
panel one day. So if you guys are up for it, I could send everybody a
Oh, now-
link, and then
Now, Anthony.
good luck keeping Dave
now,
quiet, though.
Now, Anthony made me feel bad now.
What'd he say?
He's talking about Godzilla. And
Yeah.
do you know that I am 2 years older than Godzilla? Think about that. I am 2 years older than. I'm 52. He's 1954.
Did you root for Godzilla or for King Kong when they fought?
Always Godzilla.
Because Kong
Always
won
Godzilla.
that one.
I know but I've always been a Godzilla guy.
Godzilla.
I like it better when we're laughing, but that riveted me. It wasn't so much Godzilla, but I was always riveted by, my God, if I were in Tokyo and that came, what the hell? Where King Kong
What a
is in-
great name too, Godzilla. It's like now we
Well,
have,
actually-
we play off it like Birdzilla, and then King Kong's cool too.
Well, it's cool, but see,
And then-
but that's kind of an interesting. But actually, it's not Godzilla. It's Godzilla. That's really and
Godzilla,
that was the American-
Godzilla.
No, there's no God in it. It's Godzilla. G-O.
I like Godzilla. Anyway.
And we heard Godzilla, and no, Perry Mason, Raymond Burr.
Oh well, let me
wasn't
ask you
there.
one last question, then we're going to sign off. This will kind of tie everything together. Who do you think would win a fight between Godzilla and Jack Cassidy? Who's better looking?
My boy Godzilla every single day.
All right. So yeah, Dave, we know that you love Jack Cassidy, and I'm sorry if we offended you. Cutting him up,
Can't go there.
What was he, Mr. Partridge or something? I don't know what he got. Jack Cassidy, what a piece of shit. Okay, sorry. I mean, look, I don't want to talk bad of the dead, but he kind of deserved. Look, he didn't deserve burning to death, but he was a real narcissist.
When his ghost comes back and haunts you tonight, just
All right, Jack Cassidy, he's like, there was another guy, Van Johnson, who actually was a decent actor, was kind of a hamish, a little bit of a ham, but Jack Cassidy was definitely a ham because he was definitely a grade B actor. He never made it big. He wanted to desperately, and his son did
think
become
about it.
big, and that is
That's not-
funny.
That we were joking about that, but that is kind of Donald Trump. Donald Trump desperately wanted to be big, and he's not.
Right.
He's never been in any circle. I mean, to finish that 47 times, there's been a new president, and you're 46 and 47.
Right.
A businessman is a laughing stock. I mean, yeah. So, again, peace out, as we say.
All right. Dave, thanks a lot. We'll see you. And we might be on during the week. If anything big comes up, who knows? Maybe there'll be a small nuclear event. Who knows? We just don't know these days. So be prepared, folks. Like the Girl Scouts say. Bye-bye.